All right. Unsurprisingly, Impact was awfully problematic this week. Again. And this particular show spotlighted one of Russo's less infamous booking quirks, which nevertheless is one of his more annoying ones. He can't figure out how to book things so that they look important. Or I guess another way to put that would be that he books so many things that he doesn't leave himself enough time to make anything look important. I mean, look what was on the card for this week. We had a number one contenders match, a casket match, a Ric Flair match, a match that resulted in one guy losing his job, a member of Fortune defying the group and turning face, the explanation for why the most decorated tag team in the history of wrestling broke up, and because of the haphazard way the writers slapped all this together, none of it really felt like it meant anything. You do Angelina versus Mickey. Minus the botched finish, this was a perfectly good match, and it got some decent time to tell a story, so it wasn't rushed or anything. But this was the 5-time knockout champion versus the 5-time women's champion meeting for the first time, fighting for the number one contendership. If you had to put this on free TV, don't you think you should put a little more attention on it? I don't know if this match was even announced beforehand. They should have at least had some pre-match promos or something, and yeah, Angelina had one, but that was just a quick little thing right before she made her entrance. Otherwise, she just threw the match out there randomly with no hype, and it just didn't feel important like it should. Also, I'm wondering why Mickey is suddenly feuding with Madison Rayne. How's she getting a shot at Madison Rayne already? I mean, she hasn't settled anything with Tara yet. And if you look at the taping results, it looks like Madison is going to start feuding with Sarita instead of focusing on Mickey. So I don't know what's going on right now. I assume they're going to be doing some kind of four-way feud between these women, and that's fine with me, but the way they're building it just seems really unfocused. Then you do Raven versus Jeff Hardy, where if Raven loses, he gets fired. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention, but I completely missed that stipulation beforehand. Then the match only gets like 3 minutes and change or something. Look, I'm not a fan of EV2, but if a man's job is on the line in a match, that's not something you just blow through in under 5 minutes and then move on to something else. It should have been a dramatic moment when Raven lost, but instead, it's Raven loses so he's fired, immediately cut to a commercial. When we come back, Tommy Dreamer's in the ring talking about Rhino, and Raven isn't mentioned for the rest of the show. Wow. Thanks for coming, Raven. I'll give him this much. They went back to the Raven thing on Reaction, and they put some focus on his exit. They let him give his post-match thoughts and stuff, so they gave him a nice little send-off on that show. It was well done, but that should have happened on Impact. Generally, I like Reaction a lot, but it shouldn't be necessary viewing in order to get the full meaning of storylines. Reaction should complement Impact, but you shouldn't have to watch it just to understand what's going on. The Raven thing was glossed over on Impact, and it shouldn't have been done that way. And speaking of glossing over stuff, how about the Doug Williams face turn? Man, did they ever half-ass that thing in a hurry. I'm not saying it wasn't a good time to do it, but there were so many better ways that could have been staged. How about having Beer Money hold Matt Morgan down while AJ and Kaz take turns wailing on him, and then when it's Doug's turn, he teases hitting Morgan and then attacks the heels? Sure, it would have been predictable as hell, but it would have been more dramatic than this. Then you do a casket match with Abyss versus Shannon Moore. Oh, God, that never gets old. First of all, why is the Enforcer of Immortal having such a hard time putting away Shannon Moore of all people? Second, why is Abyss making an open challenge for a casket match off camera? Why are you doing a casket match on Impact at all? What, was it just so you could have the Pope pop out of it at the end? What, did you see when they did that angle on SmackDown with Paul Bearer 2 months ago and then decide that you just had to blatantly copy it? Gee, I wonder if these writers are running out of original ideas. If only there was some sign. Brother Ray makes a completely unannounced appearance that was not promoted at all and gives a really weak explanation for why he turned on Devon last week. He turned on Devon because Chris Sabin kicked out of the Dudley Death Drop at Turning Point. Chris Sabin? You mean the guy who, on this very show, got pinned in a mixed tag match after getting hairsprayed in the face? That guy? Okay, whatever. This whole thing is stupid. In the hype video for the Turning Point match, Brother Ray said it was cool if the Machine Guns beat them, and now because of this paper-thin excuse, you're flushing a really well-done retirement angle down the toilet? You do realize that now when 3D retire for real, it's not going to mean anything, right? Because no one's going to believe it. It's like how Sting should have retired after he put over AJ at Bound for Glory last year, because that would have meant something. But he didn't. And now when he finally retires for real, no one's going to care because he wanted to go out with a whimper instead of a bang. And this is the same damn thing. Do you honestly care about seeing Brother Ray feud with Brother Devon? I don't. You had Ric Flair versus Matt Morgan in the main event. Now, you at least made an effort to hype this thing by setting it up in the opening segment, but it should feel like a huge deal when Ric Flair gets in the ring, and this just didn't. And what really hurt this was that you had all this other supposedly big stuff crammed into the show, and when you have to divide your attention between so many different things without really focusing on any of them, none of it feels important. And that aside, there was a lot of other weird stuff on this show, like the mixed tag match. The match was fine for what it was, but it was hard to focus on it because I couldn't figure out what the hell Robbie was doing. His selling is so bizarre. Every time he takes a hit, he does this. What the hell is that? Is that some kind of Jersey Shore in-joke thing? I don't know, but Robbie looks like he's having seizures out there, and it's not pretty. Oh, and one more thing, my dude. You need to take your work rate up a couple notches, because if Velvet Sky is outperforming your ass in the ring, you got a serious problem on your hands. Then they had the Tommy Dreamer Rhino segment, where Rhino explained why he turned heel last week. This went on forever. Oh, God. This is why they didn't have enough time to focus on any of that other stuff. It might have been interesting if it wasn't Tommy Dreamer and Rhino, but it was. I don't care about Rhino turning heel on EV2 because I don't care about EV2. Does anyone care about EV2 anymore? I don't think so. Then the interminable Jeff Jarrett MMA thing. Ugh. Look, we all know TNA has penis envy when it comes to the WWE, so referencing them is nothing new. But when you're essentially mocking the legitimate sport that's kicking your ass in pretty much every aspect of the business, you're just making yourselves look stupid and second rate. At least they made Samoa Joe look strong here, but I have no idea why they're pushing Jeff Jarrett so hard. The only thing I really enjoyed this week was the empty arena brawl, because that was the only thing that was actually set up and paid off well. Generation Me cheated to win the mixed tag match, which set up the fight with the machine guns later on, and when the time came, the brawl delivered. It was hard-hitting, brutal, intense. I mean, when the Guns had Max tied to the ring post and he was spitting in their faces, yelling at them to bring it, that was great stuff. I loved that segment. Unfortunately, it happened on Reaction, which apparently not a lot of people actually watched. Damn it, that's what Impact needs to be like. The whole show needs to be more like what we saw in this brawl. But instead, we're just getting more of the same tired old Russo pratfall, the same mistake he makes again and again and again of just booking too damn much. Later.